The following program is brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization.
Welcome to Talk I.N.K. I.N.K. Ian and Kim. It almost became Talk I.N.L. because you got stuck in the freeway. People don't realize I live in the Gulf side of Florida. She lives near Daytona, and today, it's quite a drive. It's a 2-3 hour drive, and today the I-4, which separates or connects the west coast to east coast of Florida through Orlando, was a cluster fudge. And you were stuck in traffic.
I don't know what people were stopping for. I don't know.
Was there an accident or something?
No, there was no accident. I think a bird just decided to stop and entertain some traffic or something today. I don't get it.
I think,
but it was in three areas.
To clue the rest of the world in, outside of Florida, because they're so health conscious with the animals and stuff here. If you even so much as see a turtle, you got to stop. You see a duck, you got to stop. The only thing you can run over are probably just squirrels. That's about it.
Really?
I hit one off a couple weeks ago. I smashed his whole tail was waggling. Sorry, I couldn't move because the guy's truck right behind me. But anyway, so I mean, they're very.
Didn't know that part, Ian.
I'm sorry. Well, they're very wildlife conscious here in Florida. So they really, they break. They break protocol by stopping traffic just for wildlife to go over.
They break for breathing. They break for everything.
And being in the old folks home, they break wind, but that's a whole different story.
That's what I'm saying.
So it was almost the I.N.L., which was Ian and Lacey. So I have my daughter here today. She's our good luck charm on our show, and she always sits right over there. But right now, she's right over here because, we're finishing up school. We only have 2 days and 1/3 day left, right?
Oh, wow.
2.5.
2.5. Okay, sorry. So this is my daughter, Lacey Stevens.
I remember those days. Those were really cool.
Yeah, she's an actress extraordinaire, does a lot of work as well. But I'm kind of being the proud dad today because she was just awarded by her music conductor. But people don't know that in Pinellas County. Band director, excuse me. Mr. Chris Tushin. So, Chris, if you're watching, thank you so much for investing your time.
I've actually heard her play.
She's really good. She plays tuba.
Yes.
Yeah, she was calling on the phone one day when you were playing in the background.
And your brother played the Flintstones.
Yeah, playing saxophone. Jeffrey plays saxophone.
All the time.
She plays tuba. But Pinellas County is got the top, marching bands in the high school at Tarpon Springs. They've been playing at the what was the
Macy's Parade.
Thank you, Macy's Parade at Thanksgiving.
Oh wow!
And the junior high program is now a magnet program. So they got kids from all over Florida wanting to go to junior high at Tarpon Middle School where the kids attend. So these kids have really got to step up their game in order to claim their chair. Well, she's claimed it as the number one brass, which means she's got a scholarship waiting for her because they don't get too many female tuba players at any Florida, college, whether it's University of Miami, University of Florida.
That's a hard
Florida
instrument
State.
to play, though.
So what's it playing? Tell us a little
Just
bit.
thinking about it is making me tired, Lacey.
It's not as hard as many people think it is because most of the notes are within the same octave, except when you go one octave higher to hit the 6 or 7 notes that are in that other octave.
That's all news to me.
Okay, I know my son played saxophone, and I tried it once, and I just couldn't do it. But I do play the bass well. That's about all I can do.
Yeah, or I play my D chord and my G chord on my guitar, and I know how to tune my tom-toms on my drums.
She's going to have to bring it in one day so we can hear her.
Oh yeah, it's a big. So what's it called? A lap tuba?
Probably.
But she went literally shot 2 from the beginning band to the advanced band. So she's skipping him intermediate because her ability's been so good. And her band director, Chris Tushin, has really put a lot of time and love into her. So she's doing really well. But, as you're winding down school, you've only got 2 days and a third of a day. Is that right? You said?
A half.
Oh, excuse me, 2.5 days.
Wow.
Someone who's 11, their half is really big. Like I'm 11 and a half years old.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I remember those days.
Yeah. Well, I'm 56 and a third, so there you have it.
I'm 21. Hello.
Yeah, here. Let me see your ID. I want to see your passport. I want to see your passport.
All right, after the show, I'll show you.
Okay, great.
Until
we'll do lunch.
then.
So, have you learned anything this year? I mean, anything of significance has kind of dawned on your little brain, or I mean, not your little brain, because she's making honor roll too on top.
Oh,
of
that's wonderful.
Proud dad. She's hitting all the A's and B's. Yay!
Hey.
How about that for the peanut gallery? Woo-hoo! Oh yeah. So they're digging you, they're loving you.
My headphones keep falling
Your
off.
headphones. So just hold on to it, dear. No, we don't want to mess up your little bow on the top of your head.
I know, it took forever.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It took forever.
We're women,
Stop.
Ian.
Yes.
Hello.
Okay.
Get with the program.
I have 4 sisters. Tell me I know all about that stuff. Thank
We're
you very
women.
much.
We gotta look pretty.
Okay. So what you said you were telling me on the way over here today that you had a fun little tidbit you wanted to share with us. What's going?
Oh yeah, a cool little fact that I learned in science a couple days ago. We were learning about eukaryote and prokaryote cells, and I learned that we are related to trees.
Can you believe that?
Trees and humans.
Is that why I
carry-
love trees so much? I just have a fascination with trees. Is that the case, or am I just imagining that, Lacey?
I really don't
I
know.
don't know.
Okay.
So, folks, Doug opened us up here, pal. So, for those of you who want to fall in love with a redwood tree, you can call anybody in California or
I
Oregon.
kind of like the hanging moss.
The Spanish moss, it
think
almost
it's
looks like
cool.
dry weed everywhere.
What are they?
I
The
mean, it's-
weeping willows.
No, well, weeping willows are cool.
That's what I like.
Like cypress, yeah. But
Yeah,
all
they're
in Florida and
sad.
throughout the South, throughout the Gulf states, they have the Spanish moss.
I
which is
think
like,
I get it now. They have emotion. The weeping willows. See, I get it. That's why they're related.
Hello, but humans related to trees, the same DNA. I mean, come on.
Do you get it now?
But you know
Ian?
what? I just got down on something.
That's
Now I can
scary.
understand why those horticultural groups are a bunch of tree huggers. They're falling in love
gosh.
and want to have romance with trees.
Mm.
So Matt, since you look like a sequoia, are you in love with like a pine tree or something?
I like.
all of them.
We are the world. You
I-
want all the trees?
I think.
Doug,
we
how
oughta-
about you?
we need to end.
Do you love
this.
do you love trees? What's your favorite tree?
San Francisco.
Oh, the big tall the redwoods? The redwood trees?
We were talking about that on the way here.
Gary, our producer, what kind of tree are you in love with, pal?
I really like the weeping willow right now.
What's your favorite tree, Gary?
I like the evergreen.
Well, yeah, that's a universal language.
Because that's forever.
He doesn't want to offend any of the he wants to be politically correct. He doesn't want to hurt any trees' feelings at this stage. Kim, how about you?
I'm told a weeping willow.
Weeping willow, okay.
I'm sticking with that.
I'm going to be strong like a sequoia. I love sequoias I'm resident from California. We've only been here in Florida for 5 years.
So
but-
we have a special guest today. Sean Whalens is on.
Right, we're going to have Sean in just a minute, and then when we do, we're going to ask him what his favorite tree is too. He's such
Definitely.
well, Lacey, we want to say thank you, sweetie, and we love you, and thank you for being our touchstone
And
for this
thank
show
you.
because it's all
We're
about
so
you.
proud of you.
It's not about us; it's all about you, and you've helped us to become the #1 internet variety comedy show. So everyone is just racking it out. Yeah. So
Very
and
proud of you,
thank you,
Lacey.
sweetie. So guess what? You get to cross in front of the camera, go sit in your little touchstone stereo. You can crawl on the floor and not be seen. It's up to you.
I get to go in front of the camera.
If you want to, and just wave at everybody and just
Yeah.
make sure you floss. Yeah, go ahead. Go. We also want to say thank you for this whole hour is being sponsored by Off Duty Wear.
Okay.
And they are our sponsor, have been for the last couple of weeks, but we're dedicating a whole hour to Off Duty Wear. Miss Vicky Royale is in charge of that. And she's actually did a great shirt for all the guys that have just come out. So she's done some wonderful stuff. So who's the guy that's interning with Gary tonight? What's his name? Richard. Come here, Richard. Come here. You're going to be our little model here. All right. Sit right here. And if you could just zoom in on this artwork. This is what Vicky did for Talkwad Studios. So look at this great shirt. Now, only the crew and the executives get to wear the polo shirts, but they have a wonderful pullover shirt, T-shirt that's got the logo as well.
What do we wear? Leftovers?
I guess. I just got the Talkwad ink there. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thanks so much for coming in. But we got our Talkwad cups, and we'll be doing some stuff down the road where we're going to be giving away some items. I don't know if we're going to do today, but we will in the future. But we got a lot of stuff happening, and we are real excited. We video on him? We had the video for our guest.
Yes, we do.
We do. So, without further ado, we want to bring on, before we say hello, we have a little clip we'd like to show. So, Gary, if you would. Well, welcome, Mr. Sean Whalen. Sean, you there?
Oh, hello.
There you go. Did I wake you up from your nap? Did I wake you up?
Hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Did I wake you up from your nap?
No, I said Redwood.
Oh.
He's right on top of that, Ian.
You are.
Yeah, well, come
Sean,
on, man.
I'm telling you, Sean, you're on a...
I was ready to go.
I'm telling you.
Typical actor.
I'm telling you. Well, to me, this is kind of like old home week, because, with people I've worked with in one capacity or another. So, I had a chance to work with Sean almost 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was associate producer on, or coordinating producer for Lisa Gibbons' show that she had on NBC, and they were filming out at Paramount. The year that I left Universal, I worked at Paramount.
Right.
And we did a segment on well-known commercials. And at the time, Sean, correct me if I'm wrong. For him, I think it was one of his breakthrough situations where he did the Aaron Burr commercial where he was calling into the radio show to win like a gazillion dollars, and he had just eaten a peanut butter sandwich and couldn't say the word Aaron Burr. Right. He was calling.
That was the first commercial?
It was a Got Milk commercial.
Yeah, that was the first commercial they ever did,
first
wasn't
one.
it?
That was your first one? And his career
No, it was the first Got Milk campaign.
Oh, okay.
Directed by Michael Bay.
Really?
Yep.
So why weren't you in Pearl Harbor?
Because he has something where he says, "Oh, I don't put the people I work with in commercials in my movies."
Are you kidding?
Wow.
Oh,
yeah, and I was like, "Do me a favor, don't put me in that commercial, and put me in all your movies."
There you go. Well, I think he did a lot of the Miami Vice stuff down here, so he was quite an association down here in Florida, and we're here in Tampa, and so. Well, listen. So tell us what's going on with your bad self these days.
Wow, a lot of different things coming out in Jersey Boys in a few weeks from Clint Eastwood, based on the Tony Award-winning musical by the same name, and working with Clint Eastwood was pretty amazing.
And you're playing the engineer.
And what's that?
You're playing the engineer in that.
I'm playing the engineer in that, yeah. So I get to work for a few days. Really, it was an amazing day. Working with him was amazing, and then Frankie Valli actually came into the engineering booth and sat there and told stories.
Cool.
Very cool.
That was amazing, and then got to watch the guys sing live. They did all their singing live, so that was really great. And then just working with Clint is so cool and casual. The DP on that worked on Twister with me, so we were just sitting there for a while as they were setting up shots, just telling really funny stories about Twister to Clint, and he was just kicking back, laughing, loving the stories, and I was like, "This is amazing. This is kind of a milestone."
So Sean,
it was a bucket list one.
When you were playing the engineer, what kind of train were you using?
Oh boy. Here we go.
Oh, dear. Okay, all right.
Where's the rim sheet? Where's the rim shot?
There you go. There you have it.
It was funny to talk about that specifically. Is there was one point where I'm supposed to be doing engineering stuff, and these guys are like, "Okay, so this button would be to record this," I'm in the background, and Clint came up and goes, "Just look like you know what the hell you're doing, and we'll be fine." And
so he didn't say "Make my day, punk."
Yeah, no, he did not.
How's he to work with? Is he pretty funny, or is he laid back?
Yeah, he's just very, very laid back. Very laid back.
He's one of the few celebrities. Cool. It's ironically enough, because I know you worked with Helen Hunt as well in Twister, but Helen and Clint Eastwood and Carl Weathers, the guy that played Apollo Creed, were the only. I've been in this industry for a gazillion years, and I worked with pretty well heavyweights just like yourself, and those three people made me nervous. I was just shaking when I met them because I was just, their aura is so strong.
Yeah.
How interesting.
To me, I mean, it was just like, it just kind of weirded me out. But it was interesting. I was working at the time when Twister was done. I was working as a consultant I was kind of farmed out when I was at Universal. And you and I talked a little bit on the set of Twister because it was kind of a passing conversation, and I was about 100 pounds thinner at the time. And that's what happens when you marry a good Greek woman. And
There you go.
it was a scene where they were at Aunt Meg's house with Paula Smith, and I was working with Paula Smith on some projects, and so it was the Aunt Meg scene where the after the twister had hit the house, and the TV and the dog and Boomer and all that stuff, and you guys were there with Aunt Meg and Seymour Hoffman and all those guys and stuff. So I mean, it's really interesting that out of that crew of guys that were in Twister, I mean, you had Alan Ruck. You had two people that went on to win Academy Awards, like Helen Hunt, because her next film after that was As Good as It Gets. And then you also had Philip Seymour Hoffman, who went on. We sadly lost this last year, but but he won for doing Truman Capote. And so when are you going to get your Academy Award?
I'm thinking about 4 years.
Okay. And you're going to do The Life and Times of Kim Marie? Is that what you're going to do?
The Life and Times of Barney Fife.
Ooh, oh, that would be good.
Yes, yeah.
I could see that happening.
I could too.
The Don Knotts biopic.
He just did Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz.
I saw that on the little clip pictures.
That's
and stuff.
hilarious.
What is that? What was that for, Sean?
That's hilarious.
That's a
Y'all gotta
Groundling,
see that.
the Groundling skit that I did back in the late 80s, actually, and it was such a big hit at the Groundlings, and I just thought, you know what, for posterity, I just want to
Did you
I
do
just want
that
to put it down
yourself?
on film. And I got Brandon Trust, who is a good friend, but also the DP for all of Seth Rogen's movies. Like he just did Neighbors. And
Right.
he's and DP for all of Rob Zombie's movies, and he's just done a ton of those. And he shot it for me. And put it together and just put it on the internet and hopefully we're going to do something with it. We're talking to a few places about having it would be great at, like on Adult Swim on Cartoon Network or something like that, where you just follow Dorothy.
That's
for
hilarious.
her desperately trying to get back to Oz because basically Kansas actually sucks.
Well, she goes via Sweden through having a sex change or something like that.
That clip is
Well,
hilarious.
it's so funny.
No.
As we're sitting here talking, it's like, my gosh, Sean and I basically have gone through the gamut with some of the same people, and it's
That
really
is so funny. So wait, did you come to the Twister set actually?
Yeah, I was there on Warner Brothers back lot. It was the nighttime shot. I was with Paula and I brought her on the set, and we were there. We arrived probably about 10 o'clock because
were we but I wasn't there. I don't think it was when they were doing stuff inside the house.
No. This was the site. It was when they were transporting her into the ambulance scene. They had to reshoot,
Right.
and you were there, and a few others, and that stuff was on the back lot. And I was at the time I was doing some pitching. I was a pitch producer, and I was doing some stuff for Universal, and so I had to pick her up at the airport, and I had to take her to the back lot set. And so, and you guys were all there, and it was like a quick shot. It wasn't anything, but she was there till like 2. I think all you guys were like 2 or 3 there in the morning. So the life of an actor,
Wow.
It's like, but I found out you just told me you were with Groundlings. So was I. And when were you with Groundlings?
You were at the Groundlings?
Yeah, I studied there with Mindy Sterling and all those guys.
Oh my God!
But I
that's
was
amazing.
there. I was there earlier. I was there in the early mid '80s. I was there with Phil Hartman and Paul Rubens, Pee Wee
Oh, so
Herman.
you were right before me.
Yeah, I was there
'Cause I
when
came in '88.
Okay, I was there from.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I came in '80. I started in January of '87 and was in the show in end of '88.
We just missed each other. I was there from '83 to '85, and
Wow.
Paul had left to do Pee Wee's Playhouse, and I had done some voiceover work for him on his show, and then worked with Cassandra Peterson when she was doing Elvira, and
Wow.
and then Phil Hartman and I had some routines that we did together, and then there was
love
and then
God,
and
he
then
was a genius.
I left that because Mindy was still mentoring me at that time doing improv, and we had a buddy of mine, Rasha Drakovich, had just started his company called 44 Blue, and now he's like the #1 reality-based TV show. But his start was in comedy, and we did the Bob Ueckers Wacky World of Sports on NBC. And so I couldn't. There were a lot of us that were asked by Lorne Michaels to do Saturday Night Live, and I literally turned him down because I was doing No Time for Sergeants with Danny Roebuck, who you know, and we found that out.
Danny Roebuck.
Danny's my he was on our show last week, and we actually were gonna. I just finished casting his commercial. He's coming out to Florida to film a commercial for us and direct
Oh,
it. Yeah.
fantastic!
Next week.
Yeah, next week, and he'll be here. And Danny and I've been friends for 30 gazillion years, and so
Yeah.
I was so busy that I just literally couldn't say no. Paul and Phil and everybody, not going to go to New York. You guys go to New York, and I was already under contract, so I couldn't go. But then when they got there, John Lovett said, "Ian, you're not going to like it because it's for me. If I'm going to do a skit, I want to make sure it's to the end." And Lorne Michaels is one of those kind of guys that he feels the audience when he's doing Saturday Night Live, and if if he sees something to change, he'll cancel a skit right on the spot,
Mm-hmm.
and they're ready to go, and they're all in makeup and they're all in costume and stuff. And say, nope, not going to do it. So,
Wow.
but anyway, so you were there from 80. You said
I was there from 87. I
Mhm.
was in the school from 87 to 88, and then in the Sunday company from till like 91.
were you there when Kathy Griffin was there?
Yeah, Kathy Griffin.
Right, she was there. She was like in the freshman class just as I was leaving.
Yep, she was there, and so was I did the Sunday show with Lisa Kudrow.
Oh.
And yeah, so it was that group of
That's
people.
cool.
Yeah, that was the next wave of wonderful talent that
That's
came
the
in.
next wave. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever get back there to do any fun stuff? Does like an alumni to go back in and see those guys?
Yeah, Mindy actually invites me up like a couple times a year to come back and do the Cooking with Gas shows, which is the all improv show. So
Yeah.
they do that Thursday nights, and they have special guests,
Oh.
and they invited me back. to
I
do
miss
those,
LA.
so.
I do. I miss LA.
So you have a horror movie coming out too, right?
Yeah, I've got another horror
Velis-
movie called Velisca, actually, which is about. This is Tony V. He's the director of Black Box Television, on the biggest horror YouTube channel on YouTube, and he
You have
got,
two of them out. Two. Yeah.
and he's directing this. He put on the website, what's the scariest place to go in the country, and everyone said the Velisca Axe Murder House of 1912.
Mhm.
And he went and spent the night there, and then he wrote a movie about his crazy experience because it's the most like paranormally active house in the country.
Oh wow.
And
Now, where is that located?
I don't know. I'm gonna
in
have to
Iowa.
check that out.
in Iowa,
Iowa.
Is that the one that Butch
Yep.
Patrick was talking about? When we had Butch on a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about this house in the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was Missouri.
Well,
I think he was.
it was 1912, and these people were
He's
it
promoting
was
that one.
3 adults and 5 kids, all killed by an axe murder.
Oh,
1912, and they've never solved it.
really?
And so it's like, yeah, they
Was it
never
like a
solved it.
crazed farmhand or something? Always ends up being someone they worked for.
When does that come
Yeah.
out? When does that come out, Sean?
That's supposedly coming out in October, so that should be really fun. And I didn't even know it was a real story when I signed on for it. And I'm
My gosh.
playing this really creepy priest was accused of it, and or preacher. And then I remember I was just going in. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go shoot this movie tonight, and all on my fan page, and all these people said, oh my God, that's the scariest thing in the world. You got to check it out. It's a real thing. And that was a real guy, and I was like, oh, that's creepy.
Hey, but you're one of the
That's really
people under
true.
the stairs. That shouldn't creep you out.
Right.
Well, that's
Wah,
the
wah,
real
wah.
story.
And you're
I
also
know.
doing
Yeah.
Divine Tragedies, which is another horror movie. Tell
Right,
us
another
tell us
horror
about
movie
that.
that's coming out, and that's by Jose Prendes. He's done a lot of movies, and I play a crazy crackhead.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go
all
back.
in a day's work.
Well, do you find that because you get cast in some of the wacky horror genre that
I
you're
love that,
digging
yeah.
on that kind of stuff, or do you feel that after a
I mean,
while?
I definitely has had a resurgence because
Uh-huh.
Facebook, a couple of years ago, I remember sitting there. I really wasn't actually on Facebook. I signed up, did a few things, and all of a sudden, just tons of requests, friend
Mhm.
requests came.
Mhm.
And a friend of mine in New York said, you have to accept all those people. I said, I don't know who they are. And he goes, you idiot, they're fans of yours. I go, no, that's
Oh, for
yeah,
sure,
there's
for
no such thing.
sure.
And I started to accept it, and that's what they were. They were fans who had found me, and then they said, hey, come out to
Right.
these horror conventions. And I said, no one wants to see me at a horror convention. And they were like, you're crazy. And I started to go out to horror conventions.
So
and then
I
when
don't-
I go to horror conventions, you meet a lot of filmmakers, and then the filmmakers are making films with, so it starts to kind of feed on itself, and they're fun. It's always it's a very loyal and fun fan base, and they're very cool, and yeah, I mean it's fun to do. I guess people see me as a creepy guy, so.
Well, you have a lot of fun
I,
on your site. You play games with them and trivia and all kinds of fun
Yeah,
things
yeah,
that you
joke
do on
around with
there.
them and stuff,
I
yeah.
enjoy reading it.
That keeps fun. I'm gonna
does.
digress. I'm gonna go back into your history a little bit, because I want to ask you some more specifics, especially about Twister.
Okay.
It's always a fun movie. My daughter's sitting there going, "Yay!" It's one of her favorites.
Love it.
What was some? Can you tell us a little bit of the backstories when you guys were working on, like when you were at Alan Ruck, were sitting in that truck driving, chasing those fictitious tornadoes?
Well, the interesting thing was we were the first truck behind Bill and Helen and Jamie
Right.
Gertz, and so they had, if there was a shot of their windshield, they'd have a shot of their windshild, then Jamie would be in between, then they'd have the big machine behind them through the window, then there'd be like 30 yards, and then our truck would be behind it. And there's absolutely no way that you could see our truck, let alone who's in it.
Right.
But they would bring us in. Everybody else would have the day off, but Alan and I would have to come in to drive behind them just in case you saw us. We're like, you could never see us in a million years if you tried. So that would be, we would drive down a dirt road for a mile and a half.
Right.
Then because it was such a small dirt road, you'd have to do like not a 3-point turn, but a 15-point turn, going, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Then turn around, go back those 4 miles, and do another 15-point turn, slowly, slowly, slowly. Then turn around, and then do it again. And it was amazing how, you'd spend a whole day on maybe a 30-second shot. I mean, it was unbelievable. And again, I'm not complaining. It's just amazing how arduous and time-consuming, that stuff is. And then when we would work with the group, and you'd see all of us or whatever driving.
Right.
We'd all be driving. It was the same thing. You'd drive for a mile and a half or so, and then you'd stop and then try to get everybody turned around and go back. Because, think how many driving shots are in that movie. But the other funny story is I remember I was in a serious acting class, and I got in the truck, and I said, Alan, it's so great to meet you. I said, but let's do some work. Let's really dig into this. And, who do you think we are? What's our relationship? How deep does it go with you and me? And he goes, how about this? How about it's Alan and Sean in a truck? And I was like, wait a minute. And he said, you know what?
That makes sense
now. He said, we're just here to service those tornadoes. And that's who we are. We are the set dressing, and the tornadoes are the star. And I went, and he was right. Sadly, he was right.
So out of all the characters that you played, Sean, what do you find to be your favorite one?
Well, that's a hard one. I, kind of have a same kind of answer. Roach and People Under the Stairs was close to me because it was my first character, and it's my first movie. Sorry, my first movie.
Right.
And it was a big role in a Wes Craven movie, and I had no lines, which was awesome because my tongue was cut out. But it was also really pure, pure emotion, and it had to be a pure character that communicated obviously without saying much. Right. So that was one. But then probably my second was one in Never Been Kissed, where it was only one line. And Nancy Javonen, who is now Jimmy Fallon's wife, was the producer, and the line was just like I handing Drew Barrymore. He was her assistant as a copy editor's assistant at a newspaper. He would just hand her her messages, and it had a booger on it, and that was the joke. And she's like, "Ew, gross," and that was it. And she said, "Well, what would you do with this character?" And I said, "Look, this was obviously a loser job. And I think it would be funny if the guy took himself very seriously and thought he was like a Hollywood super mogul agent and had like spiked hair and a headset and Armani suits, and he thought he was the hottest thing in the world, even though he's a copy editor's assistant at a newspaper. And the first day of the first shot, I just wrote all these jokes, and when we cut, Drew said, "This is really, really funny. Keep writing it and just pitch me the lines, and I'll let you know which ones I like." And so that's what I did. I just kept writing the character, and the part got bigger and bigger, and they kept asking me back, and I filmed more and more days. And it was, a collaborative thing between me, Drew, and Nancy, where, we came up with my own character, and it was really, really fun.
Well, my wife, it's one of my wife's favorite movies, and she's absolutely in love with Sean. I had to beat her off with an ugly stick. I said, "Look, he's going to be on the show, so no, you're married to me, not Sean Whalen, so just stop." And she's just...
That's Never Been Kissed was one of her favorites.
Yeah, she's a big Drew Barrymore fan, because I like that one in Fever Pitch, and she likes, what's the other one, Cinderella, the one she did years ago with...
Ever After.
With, Angela, was it Angela Houston? I believe so.
Yep. Angelica Houston.
Right, Angelica Houston, excuse me. And so, someone's Facebooking me here. But no, it's some great stuff. The thing about, you mentioned about with Alan Ruck and all that element of working with Twister. I keep going back to Twister. I just love that show.
Sure.
But let me, well, first of all, I wanted to ask you a question, because Kim jumped on the gun as far as what your favorite movie was. But the thing about it was, what in Twister. Where did you guys actually film that? That scenes that you were talking about, you having to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, just to make a 15-point turn. Where was that, in Iowa or Nebraska or California?
It was in Oklahoma.
It was Oklahoma.
The majority of that was Oklahoma. Yeah, we stayed in a small town called Ponca City, Oklahoma. But luckily, we got to work. You know, the good guy team got to work. A lot of the guys on the bad guy team, including like Jake Busey and Abraham Van Ruby and these really strong character actors, were on the bad guy team. But no one could go back to LA, even though on the schedule they weren't supposed to work for a month, you know, because we shot where there was bad weather. As opposed to trying to find sunshine, we were trying to find storms. So whenever we had maybe 3 different locations we would have for the next day, and they would check the weatherman and go, which is going to be the darkest sky? Like, what's the worst weather we can get close to? And he would pick it, and then we'd all go there. And so because it was so iffy the whole time, that's why these guys got stuck in Ponca City. And, you know, they never came to set.
Well, did you actually go to the city of Wakita? I mean, was Wakita an actual city that you guys actually went to, or is that?
Yeah, Wakita's actually a real city. Yep. And they still have, they made T-shirts and all this stuff.
So you helped them put them on the map, I guess.
Yeah, it's put them on the map for sure.
Well, you know, Sean,
absolutely, literally.
Wow, you know, this is such a happening show, and I'll tell you the reason why. Since we're talking about Oklahoma, well, you know, Oklahoma, home of Carrie Underwood, who's one of the top country stars. We happen to have in the studio with us right now the #1 country star in all of Florida, and she's on the top.
Carrie Underwood?
No. Well, we wish Carrie was here too, but this gal is about 14, 15, 13, 14. And she's the #1 country star in Florida, and she's in the top 10 in the nationwide. She's got a song called Country Girl Things, which is just shooting through the roof. Her name is Kira Taylor. She's sitting here right with us, and she is a big fan. So this is always the happening place that we can draw celebs of this caliber here. And so, Kira, this is Sean.
Hi.
Are you on? Is she on?
Hi, how are you?
Go ahead, use my microphone. Go ahead, use my microphone.
Okay.
Go ahead. Over here, me. And she has a question for you, Sean. Go ahead, right in there.
Oh.
Yes.
Is it working? Oh, okay, that's better. What was your favorite movie or TV show that you filmed in?
Well, I was mentioning movies that people on the stairs and Never Been Kissed. TV show, I mean, let's see. I mean, I really like doing maybe a show you've heard of, Wizards of Waverly Place. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh my gosh.
You just struck gold with her this morning.
I used to watch that all the time.
Oh.
Did you ever see the Halloween episode with Mantooth where they're trying to get the ghosts and everything?
Yes, that's what I was
That
wondering.
was me. I was
familiar.
Mantooth on that.
Oh, cool.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah, and I like that one because I got to work with Danny was on that one with me.
Yeah, Danny Roebuck, our
Danny
buddy
and I
Danny.
did that episode. Yeah.
Yeah,
Danny and I
Kira,
did the same.
Danny was here in January, Sean, and he did his bullet point program called The Audition is the Job, and we had about 80 students, and he flew out as a request from me, and Kira was actually one of his students back in January, so it's kind of a it's kind of a whole home week here because she studied under Dan.
Yeah.
So did you like studying and did you like working with Danny?
On that with me.
And so did I.
Yeah, that's right. Kim did too.
And so did I.
Oh, nice.
When I performed with him.
Yeah, and I do a workshop too. Danny and I are trying to figure out a way to do it together, but
yes,
we'll get you guys out here together because we
I
did
took a workshop with Sean.
Seriously, Sean, and I mean it's like between you, Barry Pearl, Butch Patrick. It's like the last guest we've had for the last 6 weeks. We found that there's a link with all of our guests so far. It's like nobody does not know who, or they've had a chance to work with each other at one time or another in their lifetime, which is great.
Right. Well, I just hung out with. Who did I hang out with? I went hang out with Butch at a where was it? At a convention in where was it? It was like West Virginia, I think.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
But we were flying back on some puddle jumper to go to a major airport to fly home to LA. So he's very nice.
Yeah, he is very nice. I had a good time.
He's a great guy.
He's so temperamental.
Yeah.
I think Curry, you had another question. What asked Sean?
You have a question?
Oh, what was your favorite actor to work with?
Well, I must say, right off the bat, there's a guy that you wouldn't know of. His name is Dennis Franz on a show called NYPD Blue. He was great, but one of my favorites is Drew Barrymore. She was so sweet, such a great producer, such a great fun.
She looks like she'd be really silly and fun.
Yeah, just very sweet,
Goofy
very supportive.
Yeah, she just became a new mommy.
Yeah, she was great, and we had a lot of social times together, and yeah, it was really, really fun.
Yeah.
She's a really nice lady.
Yeah, I like real people like that, just down to earth and, stuff of that nature. So
And it's so funny when you see her in E.T. to think that she was this daunting little gal that, just tugged at your heartstrings during that movie, and to grow up into such a, make that transition to be able to, from a child actor into adult actor.
So what was your childhood like, Sean? What was your childhood like?
I was born in Washington, D.C. We actually lived in Argentina for a few years, which was, I don't remember because I was tiny. And moved back to the Washington area. I was the youngest of four, and I became the reason I became a ham bone was because my older brother and two sisters, we'd be told to do the work after dinner and put away the dishes and put away the plates and all that, and I would just entertain them.
Right.
And because I entertained them.
So what were you having for dinner that night? What were you having for dinner that night?
What's that?
What were you having for dinner that night?
Peas and carrots.
Oh, spaghetti and meat sauce.
I'll be right over.
All right, go on. I'm listening. I just wanted to know what you were eating for dinner.
All right. And then so I would, do pratfalls and really silly stuff. And that's what I would do.
I got you.
So that's how I kind of honed my comedy acting skills, because the more I distracted them from noticing that I wasn't pitching in, the better I had to get. Until the one day when they finally figured it out, and they were, cleaning up, and then they left like a pile of dishes, and I would say, "Wait a minute, you guys didn't finish." And they go, "No, that's for you. We're just leaving you some to do." And I thought, the jig is up.
So was there any specific show or something that, inspired you, or comedian back in that day? Or you just went on your own as a natural?
I used to watch the Three Stooges all the time.
The Three Stooges?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I thought it was Welcome Back, Kotter. What was it, the Cosby Show?
And then it's a Saturday night was, Love Boat and Fantasy Island.
I watched those.
Exciting and new.
I like the Muppet Show, too.
Yeah, well,
the Muppet Show I loved. Loved the Muppet Show.
Oh, I did.
I did Gilligan's Island, Lost in Space.
Oh, Lost in Space, Land of the Lost, stuff like that. Those were great times on TV.
Yeah.
That's
good
pretty
time.
Cool. Well, listen, we have to say goodbye to Kara because this is such a happening place, and she's got you have a gig coming up, don't you? Really soon. You got to talk to your publicist about this. When you come on the show, you got to know what your itinerary is. But anyway, Sean, she's really, really busy. She's been just singing national anthems left and right, and a lot of interviews lately, and that kind of stuff.
I'm gonna have more.
She's also on an anti-bullying campaign, so she does a lot of promotion out that through what she has.
And, that's great.
Yeah, so she's utilizing her time on the. In as far as her singing, so forth, for good use. It's not just all about herself and that type of thing. So, Kira, thanks so much for coming in. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you can come by anytime. So, thank you for stopping. I know we had some other people in the peanut gallery wanted to ask a quick question. So, get out of here.
Okay.
Here, honey. Thanks so much. Thanks, Kira Taylor. The crowd goes wild. And we have another person here, Sean, that would like to ask you a question. Her name is Lacey.
Okay.
I don't know who she's related to here in the show, but she does have a quick question for you here.
All right.
This microphone?
Yeah, no, use mine.
Okay. So, I heard that you were on Wizards of Waverly Place. I kind of got confused. Are you behind the scenes or acting? I was confused.
No, I was in an episode. They had a big Halloween episode one year, and it was Selena Gomez's character was trying to rent ghosts for her haunted house. And she went into the underworld to find a ghost, and I was one of the ghosts. I was the main guest star ghost named Mantooth, who scared the older brother, and yeah, it was kind of it was like one of their big seminal special episodes that I was in.
And you did it with Danny.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
and
that.
Danny
Shot,
Roebuck,
Danny
Roebuck
Roebuck.
played the guy who ran the haunted house, the Halloween carnival or whatever.
Yeah.
He was
Well,
the
thanks for asking.
grumpy townsman.
Well, thanks for asking, Lacey. That was cool. Yeah. Have you seen Danny's Dr. Shocker at all?
I haven't.
Oh, it's really cool. It's he's kind of like it's his alter ego, kind of like Cassandra Peterson with Elvira and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of the clips of it and the pictures of it, but I've never actually seen.
Oh yeah, he's got a really nice. He's got a nice 4-minute promo. So when you hear,
are you big on horror movies, John?
I mean, actually, people ask me that all the time. They're fun to act in,
Uh-huh.
but it's twofold. One, I don't really. One, the gory stuff doesn't really do much for me. Plus, I know a lot of the people,
right?
And who do it, and so I know the special effects people, so it doesn't really freak me out. And then the creepy ones, the really creepy, supernatural, otherworldly, they scare me. Like Exorcist really scares me.
Oh,
like
yeah.
those kind of ones.
So
those spirity ones, and I just don't like them because I don't like. I'm a control freak, and that's out of my control. So
have you ever thought about working with her favorite Tim Burton?
I did work with Tim Burton.
Oh, did you? What did you work on?
I know.
Batman Returns.
Which one?
The second Batman with
with Danny DeVito.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with Danny DeVito and Michelle Pfeiffer. Yeah.
What part did you play in that one?
I'm the opening shot of the movie. It's me and Alfred, and I'm throughout the movie playing the Gotham City newspaper boy who basically they keep coming back to me, and I'm selling papers and talking about what's going on in the story.
Okay.
Yeah, he was great. He was awesome.
Yeah, I love Tim Burton. He has a new movie coming out, and that's like my dream.
Does he ever comb his hair at all?
To work with him.
He always looks so unkempt.
No.
What's that?
Not when I was there, no.
See, I told you, he never combs his hair, Kim. He's Mr. Wild and Woolly.
So some of your fans might want to know the other side of you besides your movies. What was your first car that you ever had? You want to tell your fans that?
First car that I ever had,
I would like to know.
Okay, Kim, I gotcha.
It was a big old green Cadillac.
Ooh.
And I called it the Love Boat because I was in high school and I wanted to be cool.
And how did you manage getting that one?
How did I get that? I think my stepfather was going to trash it. He just said, "Oh, let's give it a shot."
Oh, so it wasn't for saving all your money from doing your paper routes growing up or anything like that?
No, I didn't. And I remember I slid on the ice and I slid on the ice and got in a wreck with it.
Ouch.
One time, but it was fine. It was in a long driveway situation. So.
What was your first job you ever had?
Worst?
No, your first job you ever got as an employed
First job
person.
I ever had was actually when I was 10. Or like 10 or 11. I used to do puppet shows for kids' birthday parties.
Oh, cool.
And I would if you hired me, what would happen is you would I find out what your favorite TV show, and I would do a parody of that TV show.
Cool.
And then I would do, a funny version of a fairy tale, and then I would have you come back. Like the kid would come back and he'd help me do, a puppet show with me.
So what type of shows, like an example?
I made $10 a half an hour.
What type of shows did you do? Like an example, one or two examples?
Well, like they did I would do a lot of the little boys like Batman. So I had a Batman parody, that I would do.
Okay.
And I would take one of my puppets and put a Batman suit on it, and he and I, as a character, would battle some bad guy or something.
That sounds like fun. We'll have to get together and recreate that.
Yeah, it was called Sean's Friends.
That's very cool.
It was puppet shows for kids' parties.
Yeah.
Well, Sean, earlier
you
were talking.
Being a big kid.
Oh, you are.
I know.
You're a knucklehead. I love you.
Thank you.
And Sean, earlier you were talking about how when you've just come out of an acting, I know you're an acting coach like I am as well, and the thing that you were talking about with you and Alan Rock, and you wanted to take serious situation for yourself. Right now is because, a lot of people are kind of sitting on pins and needles about their career, especially here in Florida with a lot of changes happening that's going on, especially in Los Angeles. What would be some of the advice that you would give for actors today, whether they're just starting out or something that gives them a sense of hope and growth in their career? What would be some words of wisdom?
I think the main thing is it's not a one shot deal. Let me put it this way: a friend of mine who is a newscaster said that she used to go out with a crew of people, a producer, a cameraman, a sound guy, and maybe a coordinator, and these 4 people would go out and do a news piece. Well, now there's only one. They want one person to do it all because they can shoot, edit, do sound, and that's what we have to learn, is that you have to be more diverse than the old days. To be just an actor is, to me, I think, is more naive. I think you have to be in the entertainment business,
right?
Meaning you need to learn how to write, you need to produce, know how to. I mean, I keep saying this to my students. I go, Brad Pitt won his first Oscar as a producer, not as an actor, as a producer.
This last year,
so,
that's right.
And it's really kind of what's going on right now. You can't just sit around and wait for the sun to rain. You have to create your own content. You have to shoot your own stuff. You should learn how to either write or create or edit or direct. I mean, you should try to do as many things as you can. Because I just don't think just being a one trick pony is enough.
Right. You really have to be a Renaissance person in this industry.
Yes.
I mean, and back in the day, 20 years ago, when I was coaching Jeff Conaway and Chris Lloyd and a few others, and Michael Jeter, and Chris Lloyd was telling me about the same thing. He said, you really have to be a Renaissance kind of guy, and that's what prompted me, as an actor back then to get into voiceover work on my dialects.
Yep. We should want
teach
to
and stuff like that. Well, yeah, but a lot of people don't. They just think, "Oh, I'm this type or this type."
I'm an actor. Or they say very naive things like, "Oh, I don't do commercials."
Oh, I hate that.
I don't do movies, or I don't do TV, or
I had, this is what kills me, because the films and stuff out here. We just, as you know, last week we were casting for Danny's commercial. It was one of the local merchants here, and he works with Beam Productions here in Tampa, and they were doing this. So we were casting. So some of my students I called. I'm not putting anybody on the bus. I'm not going to mention any names. But there were a number of them that didn't come out, because you got to understand something, Sean. There's a lot of work that gets out here, but it's a lot for film enthusiasts and film hobbyists, and they don't pay. It's like they just say, okay, we're going to defer, right? Just like USC students, type thing. And so these kids are going to get paid $200. They're going to be able to work with Danny Roebuck. We did an open call. And we were expecting maybe about 150, and 60 people showed up. And it was a good turnout, 60, 70 people. But some of the people didn't show, and I said, why aren't you here at the audition? Kim came out, did a good job.
I drove 2 hours
yes,
to come out.
Did. People came out, Sean, there were some people that came all the way from Jacksonville, which is a good haul, Macon, Georgia, Tampa, Orlando, Sarasota, and even Fort Myers, which is another 5 hours south of here. But all to say this, there were some people that lived right here, and they didn't come out.
If you love the business, you have to do what you have to do. That's the bottom line. You have to learn everything.
Exactly.
I'm here with you doing this talk show. I do acting. You have to do what
you have to be a Renaissance person. But they're not taking advantage of every given moment, and that's what kills me. They say, "Oh yeah, like what you just said, Sean. Well, I don't do commercials, or I don't do this." It's like you got to get your face out there and expose
other people ahead, farther ahead.
Well, then they grab and complain that they're not making any money. And look, this is one day. You're going to film maybe 4 hours. You're going to make $200.
Well, at any job, you can't hold anybody's hand.
I know.
And that's at any job. And it doesn't matter what it is.
Right. They got to want it bad enough. And I told them, I said, you guys just simply don't want it bad enough. They go, well, how dare you, Ian, blah, blah, blah. I went, no, you don't. You don't understand the core of what it is to be in this industry. And if you just want to just pick and choose what you want, when there's really not that much to choose from.
It's in anything, though.
I know.
It honestly is.
Especially when I was dealing drugs back in the day. Some guys wanted Benny.
I am interested, though, in Sean's.
Some guys say, oh, I don't do crack. I don't do heroin. I'm like, come on, you got to be a Renaissance person.
I'm sorry, say again?
I said to you, it's like when you're trying to deal, and they say, oh, I don't do crack, I don't do heroin. It's like, come on, be a Renaissance person.
I said, come on, we'll slip you a few bennies. It's okay.
Yeah.
Kim's got a quick question.
You're too good for my mushrooms? Is that what you're telling me?
Of course.
I have a 2-hour ride back.
That's
I don't
know. No, we're gonna do dinner tonight. So Kim, you had another question for him?
I know. I'm always interested in what type of music that everybody likes. So what do you like, Sean? What would be in your car?
Well, I grew up in the D.C. area.
Okay.
And I definitely like soul, funk music. My first concert was Rick James. My second was the Commodores and Prince. And so then when I got out here, I really got into David Bowie, Elvis Costello, Tom Petty, Bruce Springsteen. So I kind of run the gamut a little bit.
I gotcha. Very cool. So what's in your car right now?
What is in my car right now? I actually have a mix of everything I just told you. So no one super new right now. I like Vampire Weekend. That's one of the new bands I like.
Oh, cool. Were you into what's the other one? Alice in Chains. What's the other one? David
Alice
Navarro
in Chains. Yeah.
David Navarro was.
Yeah, I was never that much into them, but
I'm going to see.
And what I listen to now is I have a teenage daughter, and so I'm listening to a lot of Ariana Grande and One Direction, and
oh yeah,
because they're in my car. So
my daughter's 11 too. Yeah, One Direction. I was like, you have no. I told her, I keep telling her about the Beatles. It's like she doesn't have any clue that, and she likes One Direction, but you don't. I thought you did. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I just got thrown under the bus by my daughter.
One Republic.
One
Republic.
Is that a band?
Yeah.
It is.
One Republic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah. Well, that's not a boy. Yeah, it's not the same idea.
Yeah,
they're like a band.
No, I like guys who can write, perform, and sing their own songs, like Paul John, George and Ringo, and the Beach Boys and the Good Old Boys that know how to do their stuff.
So, do you want to shoot out some websites for your acting? Because I know you do some kids comedy coaching.
Yeah, I'm starting to do some kids comedy coaching. Everybody can reach me on my Facebook page of that guy.
Mm-hmm. So it's Sean Whalen, that guy.
It's Sean Whalen. You just like that page, and anyone can message me at any time through that page. And I'm actually meeting with the casting directors at Disney to talk about helping some of their kids, and I'm doing a couple of workshops around the area, starting with kids, and I have some private coaching going on. But really digging in with the beats of comedy, setup, punchline, all that stuff. Kids don't know that, and then obviously finding the meaning in it, because as we were saying, if you don't have they don't know what it's about, then it's not as funny. So
true.
And people forget that. They just I'll make the faces and be loud, and that's not enough. So it's been really great. I've been working with a few students and really helping them loosen up, be funnier, be less self-conscious. Obviously, you know that too from Groundlings. You can't worry about how you look if you're doing comedy.
Oh, not at all. You got to be willing to look silly and stupid at any given moment.
Exactly.
Well, you're definitely a natural, and I look up to you, Sean.
Well, he's tall. He's smaller than you. How tall are you, Kim?
5'5".
How tall are you, Sean?
How tall are you, Sean?
Yeah. I'm 5'8".
Oh, okay. Well, then you can look up to him.
I do look up to him.
Right. Maybe it's just the image of perception, just because you're the thing.
I did. I like Sean. And Idle Hands was great. I love that one.
Really? Mm-hmm. I just loved him in Twister. I just love him because I love that line you said at the end of the movie. Guys, look at that sky. Mm-hmm. See, I've got his quotes down. See.
You're big on Twister. I love that.
Well,
it was a great
what's funny? When I was talking to Helen, things that were like scientifically incorrect that could have happened. The last scene when Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt are being tossed, they're in the shed, they're tied themselves, they're flying upside down inside the tornado and everything. And I said, that physically couldn't have happened. And she says, why is that? I said, well, first of all, your lungs would explode. Because I asked her, I said, did you ever take a physics class in high school? She said, yeah. I said, well, you never would have been able to survive because your lungs would have exploded based on air pressure. I said, plus of all the debris being flown around with all that stuff, they would have chopped them into mincemeat. And then and then
he played a great Dorothy. That is for sure.
Sean, you and Pigtails really look good.
He did an amazing job.
I'll have Liza Minnelli give you a call and give her.
Yes, thank you.
No problem. No problem.
I just rolled over and
I tell you. Well, Sean, listen, we have got to get you out here, man. And if it means
that would be really fun.
I would love to have you, and with Dan, we'll go around and sit around and have pizza and something, and play poker, and me and Danny and the gang. And just to tie it all together, we're sorry we weren't able to do Skype. I understand it was just situation beyond our control. But next time we want to have you on in a couple of weeks. If we can sit down and Kim and I can work out the particulars out so we can Skype you, so can people see that this is not some fake guy that's pretending to be Sean Whalen, but you are indeed Sean Whalen, the man, the myth, the monster. So
yeah, definitely Sean Whalen.
Well, thank you so much for understanding. Sorry about that.
No problem.
I appreciate you still coming on.
A pleasure. It was really fun.
Well, Sean, thanks again, my man, and give our best to everybody. And if you see Dan in the next week or two, because I know he'll be out here, he's flying out here on Thursday. So, and I'm going to talk to him.
Okay, yeah, please give my best.
I will. I'll talk to him tonight on the phone, as a matter of fact. So we'll do.
Right.
Well, thanks again, Sean, so much, buddy.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
You too. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Woot. Well, that was cool.
Yeah.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, I really like Sean.
I have a whole new perspective about him regarding some of the things. I know I was so grateful that Matt asked that question about like any advice to actors and stuff. Sometimes we just kind of take that for granted. So
of course,
thanks, Matt, on that too. And it was so cool. Like Kira Taylor was here. I mean, gosh, this is a happening place again.
Yeah,
the top people come by. They want to see the show. Wanted to hear who we're talking to and stuff. And we have a great show planned for next week.
Yeah.
And do we drop a hint? Do we for next week, Kim?
He is somebody who started out, I believe, on Oprah Winfrey.
Well, he was on Oprah?
Yeah.
What did he do on Oprah?
That's where Oprah helped him out.
She did? What, with his stand-up comedy bit? Or was it a show that she produced, a show that he was on or something? I love trivia. I didn't know this about our next week's guest. That's pretty cool.
Good. I'm glad I know something you don't.
Oh, neener.
I love that.
Oh, you smart. I love you to death. Again, we want to say thank you to Off Duty Wear. They've been our complete sponsor for the hour and a long-lasting relationship we have and what they've been able to do to Talk Wild Studios. Again, also just a kind of a celebration. Wanted to say thank you to Alex Wadsworth. This is their year anniversary with Talk Wild Studios, and this is their 1 year anniversary today. And it's nice to know that we're part of that whole family groups of shows, and
I met a lot of really cool people this weekend.
That's right. Where did you do this week? Where were you at in Orlando? Where did you go? Talk to me.
I was at the Mayhem, and I met Roddy Piper.
Ooh, Mr. Wrestling Man, Roddy Piper.
Yes, and we became quick friends.
Did he ask you out?
We became very quick friends.
She won't tell. It's all in the book. She's writing a memoirs right now as we speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And I met Lita Ford.
Oh, really?
And
did she drive a Chevy?
I don't know. Maybe we can ask her here soon.
Okay. Well, that's a lot of stuff that's going down, guys. And I know that Kim had a wonderful week. I've been busy. Now we're getting full swing into the expo. For those of you who don't know, the Florida Film Industry Expo is August 2nd and 3rd. It's the next big bash. But we have people coming from all over the United States to attend. We have a number of Hollywood A-listers that are teaching workshops and seminars from both sides of the camera. Danny Roebuck will be here.
Yeah,
we have Pam Morlance from Little House on the Prairie is going to be teaching. We also have Jenny O'Hara is the Screen Actors Guild vice president. She was also the star of the movie The Devil. She played the Devil.
Great movie.
And she's been a ton. She was in Mystic River with Clint Eastwood.
King of Queens.
And King of Queens. She played Kevin James' mom. And we have a boatload of people that are going to be teaching a series of seminars. We got some of the top Floridian performers that have been you've seen on CSI Miami.
Makeup artist, an actress,
voiceovers, kids workshops. So be looking out for postings. Right, the postings are starting today. You can get your tickets if you go to ffiexpo.com. Click over to tickets. Very affordable for a 2-day event for $150. You can't beat it. And then we're going to have a celebration red carpet dinner event that Saturday night for only $99. You get to wear your tux. A lot of paparazzi out there.
I got to go shopping.
And all this stuff. And we're also going to have Carlos Gomez is going to be there from Glades, and he's been in a ton of other movies that's just coming out, I think on LA Gangs or something like that. Also one of the top producers in film reality television, Stephanie Drakovich, because this year's theme is women in film. And we're coming this close, so I can't tell you until we confirm it this week, but a major Hollywood Academy Award winning star we're hoping will be a celebration of a Lifetime Achievement Award at the dinner.
Really?
So that'll be a great thing that we'll do. So as soon as we know that, we firm that up this next week.
I'm getting excited.
Well, I had to change my Depends the second time because of it, let me tell you. And this is someone, I'll give you a hint, she's worked with Danny Roebuck, and I'll just leave it at that. And she is one of her favorite actresses, and she's internationally known, and we're excited to possibly that she may be coming out, and I can't release her name
Did
just
I
yet.
do her monologue?
Well, but they don't know which one you did. So,
I know, but you do.
Yeah, and I can't say anything. So I'm going to zip it in case she gets ill or something. And
okay.
We have a couple of nice backups as well of some other people we've been
I still love her.
with. So anyway, it's a great celebration, and we had a good turnout last year, and this is our second annual. We've got the governor's backing. We have the Florida Film Commissioners group from all the different counties that are working at with Dolphin Tail, with David Yates and so forth, that are part of that as part of keynote speakers, and just keeping the work going here in Florida and making it a great relationship of the road that we're building between Hollywood and here in Tampa. So, folks, we're getting ready to sign off now. So thanks again. We'll look forward to seeing you next Sunday night at 7 o'clock. Live at Toon Talk Wads, Talk Inc. with me, Ian Stevens, and
Kim Murray.
Kim Marie, right there. So again, we salute you off. We love you. Thanks for tuning in, folks.
Thanks for watching. Hope
Thanks for being our fans.
Time.
Love you. Love you more.
Yeah.
But I really love you more. But no, but Angie would get mad at me because I'm married. I can't really love you. But Lacey, isn't Kim my work wife?
I am.
She's my work wife, right? So does that make you the wicked stepdaughter? Or does that make her the wicked stepmother? I haven't figured it out.
What happens if I file for divorce now?
Well,
what do I get?
I just want a fingernail file.
Do I get
She can file all she wants to.
I can use your new car.
Well, it's not really new, but it's a nice car. I have no complaints. It gets me to point A to point B. I've always wanted to have a Cadillac, and I finally got it. Super cheap price, though.
I can't drive 55, Sammy Hagar.
Oh, no. Sammy, if you're listening, we'd love to have you on the show.
Oh, I think I hear him.
Kabawaba.
He just did a burnout in the parking lot.
He did? Who did? Sammy?
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah.
Oh, well, let's bring him in. Sammy!
This program was brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization, setting the standard for new media broadcasting.